Hi, welcome to week 4. You should see that our new distance learning week 4 to-do list has been posted on your stream. This will be updated. And today you're going to need your vocabulary card number 2. I've gone ahead and given you both vocabulary cards where your worksheets and PDF files are attached. And then we're also working with the intro to melodic notation. The one that you got before was called intro to music notation, and this one is specifically melodic notation. All right, so we're jumping right in with our vocabulary, and we're focusing on tempi. Tempo is the singular term of this vocabulary word, and then when we talk about all of these terms collectively, we'll change the O to an I, which is the Italian rule. And so we'll say that one of these is a tempo, but all of these are examples of tempi. So I'm going to be saying the word tempi a lot, but if I say, what is the tempo of this song, then you'll be knowing that it's the same exact thing that we're talking about right now for the first time. So on the front side of your vocabulary card, you have just the vocab words, and then on the back we'll have our definitions. They're printed out here so that you could have them double-sided and cut them out. And then they're also on our second paper today, but more about that later. So the word tempo means speed, and if we scroll down, you'll see that tempo means the speed of the music. And then here are our vocabulary terms, our tempi. Grave, largo, adagio, just getting a little bit faster, andante, moderato, which is like in the middle, allegro, presto. And then we know that issimo is like the word very in Italian. So now we go from presto to prestissimo. I'm going to go ahead and try to highlight these. These are the ones that we're focusing on. So tempo means speed. So one of our tempi, is grave, which is just like the word grave in English, but we're going to say it in the Italian way. To be grave means that you're really sad. Very like no emotion. So a solemn facial expression would be a grave facial expression. So grave is going to be slow and solemn, very serious music. It's going to have about 20 beats per minute to 40-ish. That's approximate. So those are really slow quarter notes. If we speed up those quarter notes to about 45 to maybe 50 beats per minute, excuse me, that brings us to largo. That's a very slow and broad tempo. And the reason that broad is in the definition here is because when the conductor is conducting something very slow, they have to move their hand really slowly, and they keep on traveling their hand, so it becomes a very broad hand motion for a conductor. Adagio is our next fastest. It means slowly with ease. I suggest that you memorize that one. And andante is the speed at which we typically walk around. So if you're just walking naturally and you're not thinking about it, you're probably taking about 73 to 77 steps per minute. Of course, you can see there's a gap here. Adagio goes as fast as 65, and andante is listed as starting at 73. So between 65 and 73, there could be another Italian term there, or these could just have a little bit of wiggle room. Right here in the middle, moderato sounds like the word moderate. So if you have moderate temperature outside, it's not too hot, it's not too cold. If you politically are very moderate, you're not completely Democrat, you're not completely Republican, so you'd be right in the middle and agree with some things from both sides. So we know that to be moderate means to be medium, in the middle. So it's not too fast and it's not too slow. Allegro means fast, but very fast is called presto. I think it's the trick that we pair fast and very fast in our heads, which means we're talking about allegro and presto. But the vocabulary terms presto and prestissimo are paired in the Italian. Fast is allegro, very fast is presto, and prestissimo is going to be defined as fast as possible. However fast you can go. These vocabulary terms, there are 8 of them. are going to be really important for Friday. I'm going to come back and review these with you if we have time later this week, but I suggest that you do that as well. And I'm going to show you error detection. Error detection is our new form of question. So when you see an error detection question, you're going to be given a 50-50 chance. Either there's going to be an error made by me in measure 1 or in measure 2. So I'll be singing this, but I'll be changing something somewhere. And it's either going to be a pitch change, where I change the note, or a rhythm change, like maybe instead of a quarter note, I could sing an eighth note pair. Or if this all becomes just a half note on this solfege. So you do need to know the solfege syllables. You need to be able to look at the tune and kind of hear it inside so that you know what to expect. And then you need to be able to laser focus, follow along with the notes as I'm singing it so that you can find what I'm changing. So this does start and end on do. And I'm just going to choose a pitch out of thin air. Do. How about that's do today? So if I sang it with one error, you don't need to be able to tell me what kind of error. You don't need to say, you changed the pitch on beat 2 of this measure. All you gotta do is say, something weird happened in measure 1, or, I think you changed something in measure 2. So if this is do, I'll count you in. 1, 2, ready, listen. Do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, sol, so, fa, mi, re, do. Did you catch what I changed? Something was different. Did I change something in measure 1 or measure 2? You're probably already picking up on the fact that I changed this mi and turned it into mi, re, so that we had an eighth note pair stepping right on down. There should have been a skip, but there was not. I'll sing the whole thing one more time with the same error in it. Here is do. 1, 2, ready, listen. Do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, sol, so, fa, mi, re, do. If you're looking at this and you hear me say mi, re, that cannot be right. It has to be the error because there's only one pitch here. And on that beat, I sang 2. Let me show you one more. We're going to keep the same do. I'll let you look at it for a second. It starts and ends on do. You only have eighth note pairs and quarter notes. And I'll sing it for you once. 1, 2, ready, listen. Do, mi, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, do. Did you hear that I didn't sing both of these? In measure 1, I made an error. I only sang do, mi, re, mi, and I moved right on to fa. So this was my error. If you caught that, you would say that the error is made in measure 1. Measure 1 contains the error. There should have been an eighth note pair, but there was not. That is error detection. It's going to be 2 of these types of questions on Friday. Go ahead and take out your Intro to Melodic Notation page, and you don't need to necessarily print this one out, but what we're seeing first is our scale, our C major scale, because in the musical alphabet we are starting on a letter C here. The scale can use any of the pitches below. Notice that there is a low do, do, and a high do, do. When notating, you will need to make sure that your pitches match the placement on this scale. So we have our line space pattern of placement. So they live in very specific locations. Do gets the ledger line. Re is in the space. Mi is on the lowest line. Fa is in the lowest space. So is on the line. You can say S-O-L or S-O. La is in the space. Ti is on the middle line of the 5. And Do is right above. You'll be needing to notate these, so we're going to go ahead and practice writing this scale together on Friday right before you take that classwork grade. Feel free to practice it at home. Just draw your 5 lines out. Make sure that you can write it from memory. Double check it with this page and make sure yours is perfect. Here we have our tempo markings again. Yes, it's true that these beats per minute speeds leave small gaps. Here you can see that there's some wiggle room for interpretation of speeds. There are also other tempi in existence that we're not learning. However, andante is always faster than grave and so on. So here we're starting from slowest to fastest, and they have approximately the same definitions as much as you need them to be according to our vocabulary page. These numbers may be shifted slightly just to show you that there really is some different levels of interpretation. If you choose a really slow tempo and you ask a conductor or a musician, what would you call this tempo? They might say 2 words that are neighbors, like one might say largo and one might say adagio. It just kind of depends. But it's really great to know all of these before this week is over. And finally, slightly going to be pushed till Thursday, but our final topic on this paper is rhythms and rests. The right-hand box in your rhythm chart, which is on the back of this page, always shows a full measure in 4/4 time. Each kind of musical note has a corresponding rest, instructing the musician to not play or sing. For example, 2 half rests would equal a full measure in 4/4 time. So yes, it's sideways, and if you print it out, it won't be. Whole note, whole rest, it's underneath the line. Half note, half rest, it's above the line like a hat. Quarter note, quarter rest, it's kind of a squiggle. Eighth note, eighth rest. I'm going to show you those in note flight. Alright, so let's go ahead and include every type. I'm going to go ahead and let them alternate. So whole note has no stem, there's no tall part. Measure 2 is a whole rest. That filled in rectangle sits below the line. And think of it like it's a hole in the ground. If you had a little stick figure person here who was walking, they could fall into the hole. That's why it's called a whole rest. Well, that's not why. It's just a handy trick. We're going to go ahead and get smaller types of notes here. A half note and a half rest make a complete measure, because this is beats 1 and 2 with sound, and this is beats 3 and 4 with silence. It sits on top of the line like a little top hat, like the kind of hat that Abraham Lincoln would have worn. That's the difference between the whole rest and the half rest. Let's get some quarter notes. They are the filled in type of music note, and a quarter rest, I like to think of it as kind of like a letter Z or a lightning bolt. And then we have our eighth notes. Let me just get one of them. Typically we would see an eighth note pair, but if one of these is deleted, an eighth rest has often a typically pronounced dot there, a swoop, and a diagonal line. There are 16th notes and 16th rests in the chart, so if you're super advanced, feel free to check those out. And these rhythms are going to be more and more important as the weeks go by, but right now it's just our introduction. It's really the tempi that we want to focus on today. So you'll see me show you the same intro to melodic notation paper on Thursday and say, all right, now you seriously got to work on these rests. And we'll do some more with them on that day, I believe. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know it's week 4 of distance learning, and you may be feeling like how have we learned so much in a short period of time? Or you may be feeling like, how do I know all of this already? Wherever you are in that spectrum, that's okay. You've been turning in great work as a class, and I'm proud of you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.